If the very pillar on which power stands begins to weaken, decline becomes inevitable. Today, the world's largest power, the United States, finds itself in exactly that position. That pillar is the US dollar, and the entire American economic system rests on it. Quietly, without press conferences or dramatic announcements, India has struck at that pillar. It began when the US president openly warned BRICS nations any country moving away from the dollar would face heavy tariffs. After that warning, India stopped using the word de-dollarization altogether, but it did not stop acting. Despite India's restraint, the US still imposed tariffs on India and on others. The message was clear. Washington would operate strictly on its own terms, and that is where the Reserve Bank of India, RBI, made its move. India never officially declared a shift away from the dollar. Instead, the RBI did something far more effective and far more painful for the US. It began selling US Treasury bonds. Over the past year, India has sold more than $50 billion worth of US Treasuries, the sharpest reduction in its holdings ever. And this is not India alone. Several BRICS nations are following the same strategy. Why does this hit the US so hard? Because the American economy is driven less by production and more by debt. Total US debt, $38 trillion annual fiscal deficit, $1.8 trillion annual interest payments, $2 to $3 trillion. In simple terms, the US sinks deeper into debt every year. So how does America keep borrowing at relatively low cost? The answer is US Treasury bonds. The rule is simple. High demand leads to low interest rates. Low demand leads to high interest rates. When India, China, Russia, and other BRICS nations sell treasuries, demand falls. As demand falls, interest rates rise, and borrowing becomes more expensive for the US government. That's the direct economic impact. There's also a psychological one. When major countries dump US bonds, markets get nervous. Investors pull back, buyers dry up. To attract capital, the US is forced to issue new bonds at even higher yields. This is why the RBI's move is strategically dangerous for Washington, despite its silence. So where did the money go? Gold. India sharply increased gold purchases. Gold stored overseas was brought back home. Today, India holds nearly 880 metric tons of gold in reserves. Even more significant, BRICS countries control nearly 50% of global gold production. The message is unmistakable. Less trust in paper currency,